guys! Today I will be showing you how to make Kapusta Kiszona, which is Polish sauerkraut. So let's go to the garden, let's pick up a few cabbages and let's do it! Okay, so making sauerkraut is actually very simple. So what you want to do with your cabbages, you can see mine is grown in my garden, so it's probably smaller than the one you would get in the supermarket. And a side note I just want to say is that I tried making sauerkraut with store-bought cabbage many times, and every single time it molded. It has to do something, do with something they put on the cabbage, some maybe weird waxing coat or some preservatives, I'm not really sure, but every single time I would purchase cabbages from supermarket, they would mold. But once I got cabbages from somebody's garden and I did the same exact recipe and it came out wonderfully. So I just want to let you know that if you don't have cabbages from your garden or from your neighbor's garden, try buying organic cabbages from farmers market or from somebody who grows them themselves, because you're going to have the best chance to make delicious and healthy sauerkraut. All right, so what I want to show you is this cabbage. It still has those ugly outer leaves. You want to get rid of them. You don't want to have them because that just, first of all, I mean, you can see the yucky. Second of all, they're not going to ferment well. I mean, nobody wants to eat that. So you peel your cabbage till you receive that nice firm, lighter side of your cabbage. So this you can discard. Obviously, I'm going to give it to my chickens and to my compost. This is also how some of the other leaves look like. You can see you don't want that. Like you don't want to ferment those parts because they're just ugly and they're not gonna ferment well. All right. So first, what we want to do is we want to cut our cabbage into very thin slices, and we want to wash it very well. So I'm going to get rid of this part. We don't need that. So I'm going to cut off, and you're going to cut it in half. Oh, a cabbage is not. That's how my cabbage looks like. Look at that beautiful cabbage inside. I'm proud of it. This is actually the first year I'm growing cabbages successfully here in Florida, and I'm very proud of it. All right, so you take your cabbage and you just thinly slice it, just like that. And you end up with, let me show you, like a good piece, something like that. See, I usually don't cut them extremely thin, just like that, but some people like it very thin. It's really up to you. If you like bigger chunks, you can make it bigger. If you like very thin, you have to do it very thin. And this part you probably want to get rid of, so we're just gonna cut it out here. And also that little piece here, you want to cut it out. Okay. It's just tough. So when you eat it, maybe you're not gonna like this texture, but it doesn't harm having it in your sauerkraut. However, if you like softer sauerkraut, you don't want to put it in, that's all. All right, so I'm placing this into my sifter and I'm going to wash all that cabbage well. Even though it was grown without any pesticides or any like synthetic fertilizers, no preservatives, nothing like that, I still want to wash it, obviously, because it can have remains of dirt. You just don't want to have that in your cabbage. Okay, see, I don't bother that much. I chop it quite rough. To me, it doesn't have to be super thin, but I know my mom, she likes her sauerkraut very thin, so she would complain about it. She would tell me off. If she saw what I'm doing, she would tell me that she would prefer it maybe like this, much thinner. So this is preference, from preference to preference. All right, so I'm going to cut all those cabbages now, and then we're gonna go back to what we need. Make sure you prepare a big bowl. Depending how much you want to make, sauerkraut stores very well in the fridge. It stores for months and months. So if you want to make one batch once a year, you absolutely can, and then just store it in a fridge. I would recommend making your sauerkraut and storing it or in ceramic container or in glass container. Don't do that in plastic. Plastic leaks, and it's just not nice. I don't know. I know some people sometimes ferment in plastic. I just don't like that. I think plastic is not something I recommend fermenting in. So I would stay with glass or ceramic. To make Kapusta Kiszona, which is Polish sauerkraut, you will need a few heads of finely chopped and washed white cabbage. You can also actually use it with red cabbage if you prefer. And you will need some salt. I'm using Himalayan salt. It cannot be iodinized salt. It has to be natural. It can be sea salt, or like I'm using Himalayan salt. You will need a dish, preferably ceramic. It can be also glass dish, but do not use plastic. Plastic is not very good for fermenting. And today I also will be adding some garlic. In traditional Polish sauerkraut, you may also add carrot or caraway seeds. It's really up to you. You can add some fresh dill as well. Today I'm showing you a very simple version just with garlic, but it's really up to your taste. So you can do whatever you want. And I will be using one extra thing, is something which I highly recommend to you to make sure that your fermentation process starts really well and properly. It's a little bit of leftover old, quote unquote, old, but it's still good, sauerkraut juice. This one was store-bought, and I used literally few tablespoons here, so I can add that to my ready sauerkraut to make sure that the fermentation process starts properly and it's fermenting in a good way and it's producing the good bacteria, the one I want. So I highly recommend you to do the same thing to make sure that you end up with properly fermented sauerkraut. Okay, so let me move that. So as you can see, I'm using here a dish which is ceramic. I always use that for fermenting. And what you want, it has to be properly washed. You can first scrub it with soap with hot water. You can also put it in a dishwasher to make sure that it doesn't have any dirt or anything like that, because that may affect your fermentation. So first of all, I'm going to add my garlic at the bottom. I'm using few cloves, nothing crazy. And then I'm going to place few handfuls of my sauerkraut inside my container, and then I'm gonna sprinkle it with generous pinch of salt, beat it till it releases juice, and do the process over and over again till it's properly beaten. The cabbage will release a lot of juice, and it should be pretty much submerged in this juice. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Like that. So as you can see, I have that much here, cabbage. It's pretty much maybe up to here. And then I'm taking a generous pinch of salt, sprinkled over. Okay, and now after we sprinkle the salt over our cabbage and our garlic, you have to beat it to make sure it releases the juice, which will ferment afterward. So this is my cool little tool to beat up my cabbage, or my husband. But you can also use rolling pin. It will also work just fine. So whatever you have, you don't have to go specially and buy this, it's fine. This is a great stress reliever after your husband annoyed you. So I should be doing sauerkraut pretty much every day. And what you can do now is add a little bit of your remaining sauerkraut juice from your previous batch or from the store, just to make sure that it's throughout the whole jar. After a minute or two, you will see that the cabbage starts sweating a lot. Let me show you a little bit. Obviously, I added a little bit of juice, so it's extra sweaty, but you can see it has that shiny coat, it's sweating. So you can start adding your other part, more salt, and keep beating. Okay, again, I added what, 2-3 handfuls, and then generous amount of salt. Keep beating. If you have any recipes you would like me to show, recipes from Poland, please comment below so I can show you how to do that. And here you can see my husband pressing it down. You can see how juicy it is, how much actually water it already released. It's been about an hour since we started pounding it, and that's how it's supposed to look like. We're not done quite yet. We still have a little bit of cabbage to add, but if you see that your cabbage looks as juicy as ours, you can be sure that you're almost done. Cool. So here's the final bit of cabbage. I still have to pound it. I'm going to add the leftover juice. I mean, as you remember, I was adding it throughout the whole process, so it's nice and mixed. But again, it got so juicy that it will mix anyway. So even if you add it at the very end, you will be fine. You can see it's splashing a lot now. It's really juicy. I'm not sure if you can see it right on the camera, but as I press down, do you see all that juice? And that's exactly what you want. I'm not going to lie to you, most of the hard work my husband did, but, well, I did the growing of the cabbage, so I wouldn't say most of the hard work, but the pounding and the beating, he did really well. He really made the cabbage sweat a lot. So now you can see our cabbage is very juicy. So take the, if you take your hand, see, if you press it down, it should submerge all of it. And that's how you know your cabbage will start fermenting very good. Okay. So now let me take a paper towel, and this is your end product. Very juicy, right? And now what we're going to do, we're going to cover that, and we're going to set it on our countertop. I wouldn't put it in the sun. I would just put it somewhere, you know, in your shady part on your kitchen for 2-3 days. And every now and then you're going to open the lid, you're going to press it down again to make sure nothing grows on the top, to make sure that everything is nicely submerged. It will release even more juice. But the moment you see it starts bubbling, you can already put it in the fridge, or you can leave it a little bit longer. The longer you leave it out, the more sour it will get, and it will keep developing the sourness in the fridge throughout the time. So sometimes I would keep my sauerkraut for a year in a fridge, and after a few months it would be very nice and sour. That's how I like my sauerkraut, but I know some people prefer it less sour, so it's really up to you. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and write a comment below if there's anything else you would like me to show you how to cook from Polish cuisine, of course, and I would be happy to do that for you if I know how to cook it, of course. Thank you very much for watching how to make homemade Kapusta Kiszona Polish sauerkraut from scratch. Have a good day, guys. Bye!